What it do, YouTube? Is Coffee back at it, and some big news here today, and it makes the question kind of come back up. Did Young Thug make the wrong decision? I want to know what you think in the comments below. Stay tuned. We got a report at the end here. This is a wild end to this story of the YSL Rico case, man. You know, a lot of people felt it was a stretch from Jump Street. Still blows my mind that there are state level Rico cases. I just don't think that makes sense, man, especially the way that we saw that this case was such a mess, such a joke, had to go through three judges, all kinds of corruption and BS going on. And at the end of the day, a lot of people felt it was nothing more than a political ploy and a vendetta from Fannie Willis against individuals. And it was just a mess. And we saw Thugger take that plea a little while back, and that's why I'm saying, did this man make the wrong decision? As it's a backloaded sentence, I feel. And what we're talking about here is when Thugger took the plea, a few other individuals did as well, right? But there were some remaining people who were sitting facing the jury yesterday, waiting on the jury to come back with a verdict. News hit that, yeah, Gotti got shanked up, got poked up, but his lawyer was like, hey, he's okay, everything's good, he should recover, and he did. He was in court today hugging his attorney as it came back not guilty. There was only one case, one charge, a lesser charge that individuals were convicted of, and it was a gun case, which I think will be time served. The Rico, not guilty, and this involved two bodies, a drive-by among many other very serious allegations, and not guilty. So all that, this long-ass process that really was a three-ring circus and a joke for essentially nothing. You know, they got Thugger on probation forever. We'll see how he'll be able to navigate his way through that whole sentence. Still blows my mind with all the stipulations, him having to do anti-gang content. You know, is that going to be like the Tipster 2.0? He's banned from Metro Atlanta. Like, I don't know. I can't quite call it how that's going to go. A lot of experts looked at it and said, man, they could really pluck Thugger over if they wanted to here. They kind of got him by the balls. Pause. But then a lot of people were speaking of some kind of clause in this whole thing where if he keeps his nose clean for 3 years, they can reassess the probation and like let him go, either just free and clear or with like an inactive probation where he just can't get in trouble. But with all this being said, I want to get into this report here because I for the life of me couldn't understand why Thugger took the plea, and then we see these remaining defendants beat the case. Essentially just one gun case is what they went down for. I just, for the life of me, never could get why Thugger took that plea. I felt that this case was going to be a mistrial. It should have already been one. And here's some reports, I guess, that clarify all this a little better.
Breaking news coming into us right now. Rapper Young Thug is changing his plea to guilty on charges that he led a violent street gang in Atlanta. It's a stunning twist on the high-profile legal drama and saga that has become the state's Georgia's longest-running criminal trial. We're going to bring in right now NBC's Priya Sridhar, who is following all of this for us. Priya, it feels like we've been following this trial forever. What changed? Why did he suddenly decide to change his plea?
Yeah, almost 2 years, Tom. It's pretty unbelievable. But for people who have been captivated by this trial, and let me tell you, there have been thousands of them following every twist and turn over the last almost 2 years, this wasn't that big of a shocker because two other of the co-defendants actually also took a plea deal earlier this week. And that's because one of the state's witnesses, Wani Lee, a rapper also known as Slime Life Shawty, had actually been giving testimony this week and inadvertently read an unredacted social media post that the jury wasn't essentially supposed to be privy to. And as a result of that, his defense attorney actually said that they were considering filing papers for a mistrial. So think about that, Tom. After 2 years, so many twists and turns. There was a chance that we would have to start all of this, which, as you mentioned, has been Georgia's longest running criminal trial all over again. So once that happened and it looked like the judge would actually consider those mistrial papers, 2 of the remaining 6 co-defendants took a plea deal. And then today, of course, we saw 33-year-old Jeffrey Lamar Williams, also known as Young Thug, indicate that he also wanted to take a plea deal as well. And that almost didn't happen even as early as lunchtime today, because one of the things about this plea deal is it's a non-negotiated plea deal, which means they're not going to agree to what the sentencing terms are. So the sentencing terms for him will still be in the hands of the judge, Judge Whitaker. And you saw some of that video from inside of the courtroom today. He essentially was emotionless. This has obviously been a very long trial, as you mentioned, for everyone to be watching. Tom.
Okay, so what kind of a sentence might he be facing here then?
Yeah, so initially this started with about 27 co-defendants. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis actually pressed all of these charges against Young Slime Life. She believes that this alleged street gang has ties to the National Bloods gang, and they committed a lot of violent crimes, according to her, like murder, carjacking. And so a lot of those initial 27 co-defendants took plea deals. Some of them decided to have their own separate trials. But what we are seeing with the folks who did decide to take plea deals is their sentencing has been ranging from 5 to 20 years. Some of them are getting time served. So it's likely that we'll see a sentence similar to that. But of course, ultimately, it's up to Judge Whitaker to decide.
All right, so I hear this report and I even more am like, man, why did Doug plea, right? You heard the people, the state was more inclined to push for a plea deal, you know what I mean? And with that whole Slime Life Shorty thing, with this unredacted social media post that was like the 5th strike against the court that should have pushed for a mistrial. So I just don't get why Young Thug stood tall all this time, right? No pleas, no nothing. We don't break, bend, or fold on some shoddy from Treyway type vibes. And then he pleads out. It just, like, hearing that report, it's like, did Thugger get cold feet at the end of the day? We heard the lawyer say he just wanted to bring Young Thug home, but I don't know, you know, would it have been a mistrial, or would Thugger have faced the jury and beat the case just like these other individuals? Tap in and comment and let me know, but that pretty much puts this situation in the books. Hit the comments, let me know your thoughts across the board. Subscribe and stay tuned for updates. It's Coffee About Your Y'all. Peace.